diazines. What are diazines and purines? So if you see, they are six-membered heterocyclic rings. They are six-membered heterocyclic ring containing two nitrogens. They are six-membered heterocyclic ring containing two nitrogens. Okay, they are known as diazines. They are known as diazines. Examples are pyridazine, pyrimidine, and pyrazine. So pyridazine is 1,2-diazine. Pyridazine is known as 1,2-diazine, means the heteroatom nitrogen is at 1 and 2 position. Next is pyrimidine. It is known as 1,3-diazine. It is known as 1,3-diazine. Okay, and pyrazine. It is known as 1,4-diazine. It's known as 1,4-diazine. These are six-membered rings, heterocyclic ring containing two nitrogen heteroatoms. Two heteroatom, that is nitrogen. Depending upon their positions, they are either known as pyridazine, that is 1,2, pyrimidine, that is 1,3, pyrazine, that is 1,4. So they are the part of your, see this pyrimidine, they form your cytosine, thymine, and uracils. Pyrimidine is found in your, and where are this present, that is cytosine, thymine? They are the important component of your nucleic acid. Okay. Moreover, they are the part of your purine derivatives also. This pyrimidine is nothing but a part of your purine. Purine is nothing but imidazole fused to your pyrimidine. So this pyrimidine is an integral part of your nucleic acid, which determines your sequences in your DNA or your amino acids. Okay, so this is cytosine is what? It's 2-carbonyl, it is 2-oxo-4-amino pyrazine. Okay, it is 2-oxo 1H 4-amino pyrimidine. Your thymine is what? You got extra methyl at your 5th position. So that is it is dioxo. It is 2,4-dioxo 5-methyl pyrimidine, 1H pyrimidine. And your uracil is nothing but 2,4-dioxo 1H pyrimidine. So these are the derivatives which are present in your nucleic acid, pyrimidine derivatives. Okay, very important for you. Okay, so cytosine, it contains your oxo group at the 2nd and amino group at the 4th position. That is cytosine. It is contains an oxo amino group in your pyrimidine. Your thymine, it is a dioxo pyrimidine containing a methyl at the 5th position. And your uracil is nothing but the dioxo pyrimidine. It's a dioxo pyrimidine. Okay, so these are the 3 pyrimidine analogues of your nucleic acids. So let's start with pyrazine, that is 1,2-diazine or orthodiazine or ozine. These are the other names of pyridazine. C4H4N2, boiling point 208, yeah, high because of the hydrogen bonding. So these are some of the practice. So where are these present? So pyridazine is an heteroaromatic organic compound with a molecular form, as you said, C4H4N2, which is also called as 1,2-diazine, which contains a 6-membered ring, heterocyclic ring, with 2 adjacent nitrogen atoms. Okay, they are the part of many herbicides like ceridazine, pyridazole, and pyridate. Okay, it is also a part of many pharmaceutical drugs like cefoxoparan, cetralazine, minopril, hydralazine, and silazapil, which is an anti-sedative. So now let's go for the preparation. So what is the first method of preparation of pyridazine? You take a manaldehyde. So how many carbons are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, and a dicarbonyl. So they are terminal carbonyl compounds, aldehyde. So manaldehyde is 4-carbon terminal aldehydes. That when you treat it with hydrazine, it undergoes condensation with loss of water. water molecule. It undergoes condensation to give you your pyridazine. What is this? So 4 carbon with 2 with 2 carbonyl group at the terminal carbon. This gets condensed with a hydrazine to give you a pyridazine. It is nothing but 1,4-diketo compounds. When it treated with hydrazine, it undergoes. It is also 1,4-diketo compound. Similarly, it undergoes your condensation with hydrazine to give you a partially saturated pyrimidine. This, when you treat it, when it undergoes oxidation in bromine and acetic acid, it gets oxidized to give you your pyridazine. So these are the 2 methods for the synthesis of it. Next is malic anhydride. Similarly, ring opening. Then you get a 3,5-dioxo compound, which on treatment with POCl3 it undergoes chlorination, followed by your hydrogenation will give you your pyridazine, dichloropyridazine, which will on reaction with your hydrogen, that is reduction, it will go. So this is a common method. If you say your carbonyl, it undergoes ketoenol tautomerism. If you see your amide bond in your this second structure, when hydrogen reacts with malic anhydride, it forms a 6-membered ring with a carbonyl carbamide. So this carbonyl amide group undergoes ketoenol tautomerism. You have got OH and double bond comes between your carbon and the nitrogen. That OH is formed. This OH can be treated with POCl3 to form your chloro derivative, and this chloro, that is dichloropyridazine, when you treat it with, when it undergoes reduction with hydrogen gas, it will give you your pyrazine. It will give you your pyrazine. Now let's go for the reaction. Similarly, because of the nitrogen, it will form, it will undergo electrophilic addition reaction to give N-methyl pyridazine iodide. With hydrochloric acid, it will form your pyridazine hydrochloride. Now, with peroxides like acid, benzoyl peroxide, MCPB, or acetyl, this thing, all these peroxides will react with this to form N-oxide pyrimidine. It will form N-oxide pyrimidine. Moreover, when you it undergoes reduction. So when you reduce with ranitidine and hydrogen, when you reduce pyridazine with ranitidine and hydrogen, it will undergo ring breakage. Okay, lysis of the rings will take place. You get tetramethylidine diethylamine. This is a very important intermediate for the preparation of your hexamethonium and all. Okay, that are the ganglionic blockers. So very important intermediate for the preparation of your ganglionic blockers. Okay, so reduction with ranitidine, ring opening, you get tetramethylene. Why tetramethylene? There are 4 methylene groups and diamine, so amino groups at the terminal, so it is known as tetramethylene diamine. So these are the reactions of your pyridazine. Next is your pyrimidine, very important. Pyrimidine is the most important of your diazine. It forms the major part of your nucleic acid. Formula is same, C4H4N2, but the boiling point is slightly lower because of the resonance between the 2 nitrogens. Okay, the boiling point is low. Now let's go for the preparation. Preparation is important. So what it is, you take an alpha beta unsaturated ketones. Alpha beta unsaturated ketone means you got a ketone with an unsaturation, double bond at the alpha and beta, that are known as chalcones. That when you treat it, benzamide, it is an amidine. Benzamidate. Okay, that is an amidine. It's an amidine. So there is one carbon in between the 2 nitrogen, similar to that of your imidazole synthesis. If you see, there is one carbon in between the 2 nitrogen, that is a type of amidine. You can use an amidine also over here, or it's a substituted benzene substituted amidine. So that when it fuses, it undergoes condensation to give dihydropyrimidine intermediate. This on oxidation with air. Okay, when it undergoes oxidation, it will form your corresponding 2,4,6 triphenyl pyrimidine. It will give 2,4,6. You can take any type of chalcones. Okay. Here the particular example is of a phenyl chalcones. You can take different types of chalcones. You can react it with amidins, different amidins, to give you a dihydropyrimidine which undergoes oxidation. We can do oxidation with selenium, anything that we have studied earlier, and you get your 2,4,6 triphenyl pyrimidine. That is. Now the next method is you take diethyl malonate. So what does this diethyl malonate? It is a CH2 group which is connected to two esters. It is a CH2 group, active methylene, connected to two esters. Diethyl malonate, same like malonaldehyde. Instead of aldehyde, you get an ester. You treat it with an urea. When you treat it with an urea, so there is a nucleophilic addition. Urea, nitrogen attacks on the carbonyl carbon. Ethanol is caused. You get a barbiturate. When you treat it with sodium ethoxide in presence of base, the base will abstract your proton. It undergoes nucleophilic substitution reaction. Amine attacks on the carbonyl. Ethanol is lost. You get barbituric acid. This barbituric acid. So there are 3 carbonyl groups. So what happens? This undergoes ketoenol tautomerism. It undergoes ketoenol, and when it undergoes ketoenol, you get a trihydroxy derivative. You get a trihydroxy. That when you treat with POCl3, it gets converted to your trichloro derivative, which when treated with zinc and acetic acid. Zinc and acetic acid. Okay, it's zinc and acetic acid. Your chlorine is replaced by your hydrogen. That is, reduction takes place. So you get your pyrimidine. This is the second method. You take what? Diethyl malonate with urea. You get barbituric acid. This is a method for synthesis of barbituric acid, which is a part of your sedatives, antipsychotics and all. Okay. So how to prepare barbituric acid? This is the way you can prepare barbituric acid. Okay. Then you can do different substitution. Then it undergoes ketoenol tautomerism, followed by chlorination with POCl3 and reduction to give you your pyrimidine with zinc acetic acid. You can use any other reduction method also. Next method is 1133 tetrahydroxypropane. You got propane means 3 carbon with hydroxyl group at 4 hydroxyl group at the terminal, 2 each on each terminal carbon, 1,1 and 3,3 tetrahydroxy. You treat it with formamide, 2 moles of formamide in presence of aluminum oxide. It undergoes ring fusion and you get your pyrimidine. So this is direct method for the preparation of pyrimidine. You take 1,1 commercial method. It is 1133 tetrahydroxypropane. What is this? 1133. So there are 4 hydroxyl group at the 2 terminals of your propane. So that will fuse with your formamide. So there will be 2 molecules of your formamide. Later on it undergoes cyclization and condensation to give you your pyrimidine. This is your third method for the preparation of your pyrimidine. So these are the resonance structure of pyrimidine is very much important. You should know how the resonance takes place. So both the nitrogen. So the above structure shows the mesomeric effect on of the nitrogen atom and also leads to the electron deficiency. So if you see there is less electrons in your pyrimidine. So all the carbons are having positive charge. If you see so if you start with nitrogen 1, so the negative charge will be on the third nitrogen, and the positive charge will be revolving around the carbon atom. Similarly, when you draw the nitrogen, when you take nitrogen, first nitrogen, third nitrogen as the donor, electron donor to the resonance. So what you see, when you take 2, 4, 6 positions are electron deficients. Okay. So the aromatic ring is stable for electrophilic substitution reaction, even greater than pyridine. Understood? Because it has electron deficient carbon at the second and it is stabilized by a nitrogen. Okay. That's why it will undergo electrophilic substitution reaction at 2, 4, 6 position. The only site vulnerable for attack of electrophilic reagent is position 9. Its position. Okay. it's natural for 2,4,6 must react with the nucleophilic reagent. It will nucleophilic react. Only the fifth position will undergo electrophilic substitution reaction. 2,4,6 will undergo nucleophile because of the positive charge. Nucleophile is negatively charged, so it will undergo easy nucleophilic substitution reaction at 2,4,6, and only electrophilic substitution reaction at the fifth position, because only at the fifth position there is no positive charge. Rest all position it has got the positive charge. Only at the fifth position there is no positive charge. That's why your electrophilic substitution can only take place at the fifth position. Rest all 2,4,6 it will undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction. So with this resonance, this is very important for your exam. It might come for 2 marks or 5 marks. And give the reason why electrophilic substitution reactions takes place only at 5 and nucleophilic substitution reaction takes place at the 2,4,6 in case of pyrimidine. You should know this. You have to write the resonance structure and show the charges on the carbon and the nitrogens and explain the reason why. So these are some of the chemical properties. Reduction is resonance stabilized of pyrimidine may lead to addition or cleavage of the ring. So this most of the cases when there are 2 heteroatoms, it is not stable for your reduction. It will undergo ring cleavage. Okay. The number of nitrogen that increases, the pi ring becomes less energetic, and electrophilic substitution reaction is more similar to that of your pyridine. Pyridine also does not undergo your electrophilic substitution reaction. It only undergoes nucleophilic substitution. Aromatic substitution reaction is easier. Now let's go for the reactions. Of first is what? Electrophilic substitution reaction. Diprotonation. Both will act as individual. Okay. So since there are 3 double bond since there are 6 lone pair of electrons, so its aromaticity is easily maintained. So the 2 nitrogens can act as a base. With methyl iodide, it will form 1 methyl pyridinium chloride. Okay. So these are the reactions. Some other reaction, nucleophilic substitution, 2 amino, then diazotization to give you pyrimidinium 1 chloride. This is a common electrophilic substitution reaction takes place only when there is an electron donating group. When there is an electron donating groups. Okay, when there is electron donating groups at the 2 and 4 position, your electrophilic substitution reaction takes place at the 5th position. 2 aminopyridine will give 5 bromopyridine. The electrophilic substitution reaction only takes place at the 5th position. That is the only one position where there is no positive charge. Rest all positions, when there is resonance, the positive charge. So your electrophilic substitution reaction takes place only at the 5th position, and if there are electron donating groups in the ring substitution, that favors the electrophilic substitution. So these are the things that has to be remembered. They are easily prone to your nucleophilic substitution reaction. They favor nucleophilic. The pyrimidine favors nucleophilic. That's why you should know the resonance structure. The pyrimidine, nucleophilic substitution, 2nd, 4th and 6th, all the position it might undergo. Okay, your electrophilic substitution takes place only at the 5th position. If there are electron donating group substitution at the 2, 4 position, then it will undergo electrophilic substitution reaction at the 5th position. So these things have to be remembered in case of your pyrimidine. Some of the derivatives, as I said, barbituric acid, which contains 3-oxo, it undergoes tautomerism. This is trioxo from, and this is trihydroxy from. So these are the 2 oxo derivatives of your pyrimidine. That is your barbituric acid, cytosine, thiamine and uracil. And as we have seen, similar to that, thiophene, thiazole, it is linked to your pyrimidine, amino pyrimidine, methyl pyrimidine, by a CH methylene group, that is known as your vitamin B1, that is thiamine. Thiamine is nothing but vitamin B12, which contains a pyrimidine and a thiazole ring fused by a methylene group, that is CH2 groups. Okay, that is known as your vitamin B1. That is known as vitamin B1. It is also known as what? Thiamine. It is also known as what? Thiamine. So the third diazine is 1,4-diazine. That is known as pyrazine. Very important when you are studying medicinal chemistry. Okay, pyrazine, 1,4-diazine. It is also known as 1,4-diabenzene or para-diazine. Molecular formula will be same C4H2 and boiling point it's around 115. Okay, soluble in water. So these are some of the drugs containing pyrimidine, that is 5-fluorocytosine. Only thing that fluorine and amino group at your 5th position. Cytosine, if you know, fluorine at the 5th position. They are all used as anti-cancer, anti-fungal drugs. Sulfadiazine. Sulfadiazine contains pyrimidine. It is an antibacterial. Trimethoprim, which is an antibacterial as well as an anti-malarial agent, which is a dihydrofolate reductase inhibitor. Okay, so that is an antibacterial agent. So now let's go for the synthesis of pyrazine. Let's go for the synthesis of pyrazine. So if you see, pyrazine contains amino group at 1 and 4 position. So your starting material should contain amino group at 1 and 4 position. So which is the best reagent to take? You use an ethylene diamine. You take ethylene diamine, you treat it with glyoxal. Glyoxal also contains 2 carbon with 2 carbonyl group. Okay, this will fuse. See everything, ethylene diamine, 2 nitrogen, and glyoxal contains 2 carbonyl group. It is 1,2-carboxylic 1,2-diketo compound. See, this undergoes condensation to give you 2,3-dihydropyrazine. Why it is called 2,3-dihydro? So, because there is hydrogen, extra hydrogens at second and the third part. This undergoes oxidation. You can take any reaction, palladium, carbon, anything. It undergoes oxidation. There is loss of your H, okay, and you get your pyrazine. Second method, other method is you treat with 1,2-diaminoethane, that is ethylene diamine. You treat it with ethylene oxide in presence of aluminum oxide and iron nickel at high temperature. It will give your piperazine. It will give your piperazine. Your piperazine will, this piperazine will undergo, that is your saturated form of your pyrazine. This will undergo oxidation in presence of palladium, carbon or selenium to give you your pyrazine. To give your pyrazine. See, if you see, ethylene diamine is the common. Ethylene oxide, when you treat it with it undergoes fusion in presence of iron nickel to give pyrazine. Piperazine, which undergoes oxidation to give you your pyrazine. Next is your self-condensation. Next reaction is your self-condensation of what? Alpha amino ketones. What is alpha amino ketones? Containing ketone amino group alpha to your carbonyl group. Alpha amino ketone. It undergoes self-condensation. You get an condensed product. Your nitrogen gets fused, followed by oxidation. It will get aromatized. Your ring gets aromatized, and you get your substituted pyrazine. So what you have to do? You take an alpha amino ketone. What is alpha amino ketone? It's a amino group containing keto adjacent to your amino groups, or a keto group adjacent to your adjacent carbon. Amino group adjacent to your carbonyl group. So this is known as alpha amino ketone. So what happens when such two molecules come together? They fuse together. They condense to give you a intermediate, which gets oxidized by palladium, carbon or any oxidizing agent or selenium to give you your corresponding pyrazine. So these are the methods for the synthesis of your pyrazine. You take an alpha amino ketone, it undergoes self-condensation. So some of the reduction, you get piperazine, it undergoes your nucleophilic substitution to give 2-aminopyrazine. It undergoes oxidation with peracids, okay, to give you your corresponding N oxide. So these were the chemical properties of pyrazines. Now let's go for your purines. So purines are nothing but it contains a pyrimidine ring fused to your imidazole ring. Okay, it contains an pyrimidine ring which is fused to your imidazole ring. They form the nitrogenous base of your nucleotides, which are the part of your DNA. So this is your numbering. Numbering is very much important in case of your purines. So it is 1, 2, 3. First nitrogen, second, third. Fourth, fifth is the junction. So see the numbering proper. And 6. So first you are trying to name the pyrimidine ring. Then it goes for 7, 8, 9. Okay? 7, 8, 9. So this is the numbering of your purine. Okay? All are sp2 hybridized planar. It has got 10 electrons. If you see, there are 10 electrons. 2 electrons come from your nitrogen. So they obey your Huckel's rule. They are weak bases. They are weak bases. They are weak bases. Numbering is very important. Numbering is very important. Okay? So now let's go for the tautomeric form. Let's go for the tautomeric form of 7H or 9H. Okay? So 1H. Okay? Okay? 1H. Purine means nitrogen is at the first position. Okay? 9H. Tautomerism to give you a 9H pyrimidine. So they undergo your tautomerism. 7H. See, the position goes to the 7 and 7H purine. So these are some of the tautomeric, more stable tautomeric forms of your purine. Just remember this thing because this is very important. Where this, because this plays a very important role in design of your anti-cancer drugs. This plays very important. This tautomeric forms plays an important form. That's why in case of guanidine and all, the nitrogen at the 7th position is prone to, it gets alkylation. Okay, so very important. This 7H purine, which you see tautomeric form, is very important because this is the part which conjugates with your alkylating agents present in your anti-cancer drug. Alkylating agents, when you will be studying anti-cancer, alkylating. Now you will come to know why the alkylation takes place at the 7th position. This is the most stable configuration. That's why it undergoes alkylation at the 7th position. Remember this, very important when you will be studying anti-cancer, why alkylation takes place at the 7th position of your guanine. Okay, very important, this particular structure, this tautomeric form. This will explain you why the 7th position is the most stable structure of your 7H position is the most stable structure, because both the forms 9 and H gets converted into your 7th form. Okay, this is why your 7 and 9 positions are the most stable conformers of your purine. Yeah, synthesis, yeah, this Straub synthesis can be asked for 2 marks. So what is Straub synthesis? Straub is purine synthesis. You take an 4,5-diamino pyrimidine. You take a 4,5-diamino pyrimidine. You treat it with any carbolic acid, similar to that of your imidazole, similar to that of your benzimidazole synthesis, where you see there you took your orthophenylene diamine. Here you take 4,5-diamino pyrimidine. You fuse it with any acid, carboxylic acid. It undergoes condensation to give you your corresponding purine. It will give you the corresponding purine. So you take a diamino pyrimidine, 4,5-diamino pyrimidine. You condense it with your any carboxylic acid. So it will undergoes condensation to give you your purine. It will condense to give your corresponding purine. You take, write it down, 4,5-diamino pyrimidine. That means if you see 1, 2, 3, nitrogen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why we are giving 4,5-diamino pyrimidine? Because the heteroatom should be given the first priority. Nitrogen 1, 2, 3, then 4th is amino, 5th is amino. Okay, that's why it is 4,5 as per the IUPAC name. It is 4,5-diamino pyrimidine. It reacts with your carbonic acid, that is acetic acid, formic acid, any acid you take, benzoic acid, you get 2 substituted, your 8 substituted pyrimidine. Okay, 8 substituted 9H pyrimidine, purine molecule. Okay, so this is the first method. This is the only one way where it is synthesized. Reactions, yeah, it undergoes electrophilic addition reaction at the first position, third position, 7th and 9th. Alkylation at 8th and 7th and 9th. Remember, very important. Oxidation in per acid, you get N oxide, N9 1H 1 oxide. So 1 N oxide. So oxidation takes place at the first nitrogen. Very important, all these things, because this forms the basis of all the mechanism of actions of your purines and pyrimidine, which are the basis for everything. So if you see, alkylation is where it is taking place, at the 7th and the 9th position. So these are prone for your alkylation. These are prone for your alkylation. Some of the derivatives of this thing are uric acid, xanthine, hypoxanthine, caffeine, theobromine. So this can be asked in your exam. Oxopurines. Derivatives of purines are uric acid. So uric acid is not similar to that of your barbituric acid. You got 3 oxo group. Barbituric acid also contains 3 oxo group. Okay, 2 in your pyrimidine ring, 1 in your imidazole ring. Okay, in between 2 nitrogens there are carbonyl groups. Xanthine, 2 only in your pyrimidine ring. Xanthine contains what? Xanthine contains 2 carbonyl group at the pyrimidine ring, and hypoxanthine only one carbonyl group. Okay, next to your nitrogen one. Caffeine is similar to that of your xanthine. Only difference is the nitrogens are methylated. Only difference is what? Your nitrogens are methylated. And theobromine, difference between theobromine and caffeine is what? Your nitrogen at the first position is not methylated. Nitrogen at the third position is not methylated. That's the difference between your caffeine, xanthine. This can be asked in your exam for 2 marks. Uric acid, xanthine, hypoxanthine structures can be asked in your exams for 2 marks. Medicinal uses, it is used as an antimetabolite, 6-mercaptopurine, anti-cancer drug, as I said. Then antiviral drug. All your antimetabolites contain your purine or pyrimidine analogs. They all contain your purine or pyrimidine analogs, antimetabolites. Okay, these are some of the examples. Anti-cancer as well as antiviral drugs. Okay, some of the now your aminopurines, adenine and guanine. If you know adenine and guanine, adenine is nothing but, if you have, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 amino purine. It's 6 amino purine is nothing but your adenine. 6 amino purine is nothing but an adenine. 6 oxa purine is nothing but your guanine. 6 oxa purine is nothing but your guanine, which are the basic nucleic acids, basis for your nucleic acids. These are purine basis of your nucleic acid. You have to remember these structures, because this will be repetitively coming in your medicinal chemistry. When you study medicinal chemistry, these structures form the basis of your medicinal chemistry. Guanine, adenine, cytosine, thymine, hypoxanthine, they are all the basis for your nucleic acids. Okay, so purine basis and pyrimidine basis. So you have to remember all these structures. You have to remember all these structures. They are the basis for your nucleic acid.